Now, Europeans make up a large and incredibly important part of our global community, and many of the values that Europeans care about deeply are values that we share, from the importance of human rights and the need for community, to the love of technology and all the potential that it can bring. Now, we've always focused on all the good that technology and connecting people can bring, and as Facebook has grown, it has helped give people everywhere around the world new tools to stay connected to the people they care about most. After the recent terrorist attacks in Berlin and Paris, London, and here in Brussels, tens of thousands of people have used our safety check tool to tell the people they love that they're safe. Refugees arriving in Europe are using Facebook to stay in touch with their loved ones back home and find new communities here. There are 18 million small businesses here in Europe that use Facebook today, mostly for free, almost half of whom say that they have hired more people as a result of their use of our tools. But it's also become clear over the last couple of years that we haven't done enough to prevent these tools from being used for harm as well. And that goes for fake news, foreign interference in elections, and developers misusing people's information. We didn't take a broad enough view of our responsibility, and that was a mistake, and I'm sorry for it. It's going to take time to work through all of the changes that we need to make here, but I'm committed to getting this right and to making the significant investments that are necessary to keep people safe. For example, we are doubling the number of people working on safety and security at our company to more than 20,000 by the end of this year. On top of the investments that we're making in other areas, I expect that these increased investments in security will significantly impact our profitability. But I want to be clear. Keeping people safe will always be more important than maximizing our profits. Now let me start by explaining the action we're taking to prevent what happened with Cambridge Analytica from happening again. Back in 2014, we changed our policies to more tightly restrict the information that apps could get and to proactively review all apps asking for more data. So now we're going to go even further than this. First, when you use an app, it's now only going to get limited access to your information, your name, your profile photo, and your email address, unless they've gone through a full review. So that's much less information than apps can get on mobile platforms today. Second, if you haven't used an app in 3 months, we're going to prevent that app from accessing your information until you authorize it again. Third, last month, we showed everyone on the top of their newsfeed a tool with a list of all the apps that they've used, as well as a simple way to remove permissions for any apps that they no longer want to access. Finally, we're investigating every single app that had access to a large amount of people's information before we locked down our platform in 2014.
I really think we have a big problem here. And it's not solved by saying we're going to fix it ourselves. And you have to ask yourself how you will be remembered. As one of the 3 big internet giants, together with Steve Jobs, I should say, and Bill Gates, who have enriched our world and our societies. Or on the other hand, in fact, a genius who created a digital monster that is destroying our democracies and our societies for the moment. That's a question that you have to put for yourself.
Perhaps you're horrified by this creation of yours and what it's led to. I don't know. But what is absolutely true is that since January of this year, you've changed your modus operandi, you've changed your algorithms, and it has led directly to a very substantial drop in views and engagements for those that have got right of centre political opinions.
Would you consider your company as a monopoly? And I have to say, as a politician, I believe in markets and rules, but I also want to stop all kinds of possible monopolies. And that's why I think it is time to discuss breaking Facebook monopoly, because it's already too much power in only one hand.
We exist in a very competitive space where people use a lot of different tools for communication. Where the average person uses about 8 different tools for communication, ranging from all sorts of private messaging up to more broadcast mediums, to things where they're communicating with groups of people and all of their friends at once. So from where I sit, it feels like there are new competitors coming up every day. There are competitors that reach tens and hundreds of millions of people, and we're constantly needing to evolve our service in order to stay relevant and serve people well. So that feels like it's a competitive environment where there are many choices that people have. It's very important to me that we're a service that allows for a wide variety of political discourse. We view that as a big part of our responsibility, and I can commit to you here today that we have never and will not make decisions about what content is allowed or how we do ranking on the basis of a political orientation. Terror, bullying, self-harm, election integrity, which is obviously extremely important, are prioritizing them first, but our goal over the coming years is going to get to developing the AI systems and hiring the staff necessary to be able to proactively review more of the content as it's coming into the system. We'll never be perfect on this. Our adversaries, especially on the election side, people who are trying to interfere, will have access to some of the same AI tools that we will. So it's an arms race, and we'll need to constantly be working to stay ahead. But our vision for how we should manage the system is going to move from one of reactive management as people in our community flag things to one where we're more proactively having systems look at the content, flag things for tens of thousands of people to review. And we're already making significant progress in doing that. I think I was able to address the high-level areas in each, and I'll make sure that we follow up with each of you afterwards to make sure that your specific questions get addressed. And we're going to have someone come to do a full hearing soon to answer more of the technical questions as well. So thank you again for inviting
Mr.
me
Zuckerberg,
and for having
I think
me.
there was one question raised by Guy Verhofstadt, and that's linked to my question, and that's the separation of different services. And I think it's a very important question in this round, the market power of Facebook, and the question if you cross-use, for example, data between Facebook and WhatsApp. So it would be good if you say at least one word to that.
Will you allow users to escape targeted advertising? I mean, I asked you 6 yes and no questions. I got not a single answer. Yeah. And of course, well, you asked for this format, well, for a reason.
Okay.
I'll make sure we follow up and get you answers to those.
Okay, I think I want to ask to you if it's possible to have right answer for any question from you in the next days.
Why not written answers? So I think that everybody of us can provide you or questions because we have all well prepared our interventions, so we have them on paper. We could, Mr. President, you collect them, you give them to the team of Mr. Zuckerberg or Mr. Zuckerberg himself, and we receive written answers on it. Because let's be honest, I have not so much. I don't think that the right way is to say, and now we're going to put it in Libe and so on. No, there are a number of questions that have been put by other colleagues that I want an answer to. That said, I'm anxious of this new brave new world that Mr. Zuckerberg has presented us. A brave new world where tens and tens of thousands of private people are scrutinizing us and are saying what is fake news, what is not fake news, what is hate speech, what is not hate speech.
Mr. President,
don't you think that it is a public
the
task?
continuation of this discussion in this format as well as in the Liebe format. This is very obvious.
No, I think, first of all,
collecting the question.
okay, is it possible to have answer question by question to have a right answer by Mr. Zuckerberg in the next days for every question?
Written, yeah.
Okay.
On competition, for example, a European antitrust thing, that's important. Do we need? I think we're going to push our antitrust agency to go into this if there is not a good answer to.
I think the problem is the timing. For me, it's possible to say, but there is a flight. But I think if Mr.
There is no flight. I come from France.
Yes, okay.
There are strikes. That's the only thing.
Sorry, I think this is the format. Do you agree, Mr. Zuckerberg, for right answer in the next days for a question by question? Is possible to have a right answer?
The questions that weren't answered today.
Yes, you have the question, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.